All right, what's up, Dean? This week we're gonna have a look at your exercise, basically your review of your technique, just to make sure that you're doing things right and basically just help us improve. So let's have a look. We start off with, all right, just gonna share my screen here so you know what I'm talking about. And here we go, sharing my screen, and yep, we start with the squats. So your walkout seems a little bit shaky. What I like you to do is make sure when you're under the bar, take a solid brace, stand tall, right? Make sure that you're brace breathing into the belt before walking out. So your walkout could be a little bit steadier. But in terms of the squat, let's have a look. Yeah, squat still seems a little bit high. So if we pause, perhaps it's the angle as well, but it seems a little bit high. You initiate the movement with quite a bit of forward knee movement, which isn't bad, but the thing is keeping your knee forward could potentially be keeping the knee forward could potentially be an issue because we see a slight trend of the knee shooting back. So we see that and the knee shoot back. But all in all, I think that this weight is still very much manageable. But what I want you to do, to be honest, is just we try to have to focus on hitting that a little bit more and really work on externally rotating a little bit more. So instead of pushing the knees forward, I want you to push the knees out as well. So basically we're gonna create more space in the hip to allow us to hit that. This one seems pretty decent. Like I said, it could just be the angle. All in all, I think this was a pretty decent set of squats. So we look at the bench press. It's a good thing they are loading the weight on the traps. So basically, as you bench, you want to load the weight on the traps and then breathe in and keep our arch as high as possible. You definitely widen the grip a little bit more, so that's good. But what we can do this week is basically, I want you to flare your elbows out a little bit more instead of tucking them. So remember that the bench press is a pause bench. Basically, I don't want you to sink the bar into your chest and use momentum. We want to build muscle. So basically, the more tension we can put on the muscle, the better it will be. So I mentioned the cues that I've sent in the email. We want a soft touch on the chest, basically a slight touch on the t-shirt. That will help us control a little bit more. Deadlift here, this is the one with the hook grip, I assume. The lockout could definitely use some work. I want to see a strong lockout. And I think the one with the straps was a little bit better. So what we're doing here is basically you want to anchor the hips. I talk about this. I'll talk about this a little bit more later. But we want to anchor the hips before we start the pull. This was a little bit better, but I think we still can focus on the lockout. As you lock the weight up, as the bar breaks the floor, think of forcing a strong knee extension and pushing your hips forward. So your knees look a little bit soft here, right at the top. So it looks a little bit soft. So we have to ensure that the knees are not soft. If not, we'll get called basically, yeah, for soft lockout, and that would be no lift. So I like to see a stronger lockout. So your stance here seems wider than usual, and you definitely hit depth here, that's for sure. And it moved all right. Maybe it's just in your head that this was actually harder because you're not looking in the mirror. But to be honest, it moved really, really fine. And what we want to do here is basically we see that the knees do cave in slightly. So you have to externally rotate a little more. I can't really tell from this angle, but I like to see. Perhaps you can let me see a full video of yourself. I can't see your toes basically. That would be great, but I think this move pretty okay, to be honest. So a little bit more benching here. Like I say, we want to create a soft touch and make sure you keep your head on the bench. This was fairly easy. What we see here, I don't know if you noticed this, but we see that the elbows going inwards. Let's see. So as you bring the bar down, the elbows are in, and the elbows go inwards a little bit more. There's a slight jerky motion where the elbows move in a little bit more. This potentially loads the triceps and help you to have strong press off the chest. But what happens is that it puts you in the position when it makes it really, really difficult to lock out. So I like to, like I say, practice a softer touch, a softer approach. Same thing, a little bit softer would be better. And remember to keep your head on the bench at all times. So this angle is actually pretty hard to see, but it does look like you're pointing your toe a little bit straight. So it's really hard to see from this angle, but I think you could turn your toe out slightly more. But pause deadlifts. So we remember anchor the hip. So this is actually pretty good, right? What we can work on is the pauses. You should pause here, hold the pause for a good 1.5 seconds before initiating the second pull. But I think this move fairly easy, move fairly well. I think once we get the hang of pausing the deadlift, we will actually be able to carry over to the regular deadlifts. And like I say, we need a stronger lockout. You're not fully locking out the reps. And the last one for the day, Sporto presses. So the reason why Sporto presses is so hard because it doesn't allow you to sink the bar on your chest. You have to control the bar and making it stop halfway before initiating the press, which is very different from how you regularly bench, which is you sink the bar on your chest and use your triceps to drive it out. But all in all, this is what I want you to focus on. So as a quick recap, for the squat, all right, I think we can point our toes out slightly more and keep the knees tracking. I can't really see much for the angle, but that's why I want a 45-degree angle from the squat where I can see your entire squat form. I think pushing the pointing the toes out and pushing the hips open will allow you to hit that easier as well. In terms of weight, I don't think it's really an issue. It's more of getting the technique right. For the bench press, what we see now is that you're kind of like tucking in this way and you press like that, right? You press like that by bringing the elbows slightly in. So you come down like that and you press like that. So what I want you to do is I want you to flare it out slightly more. We want to keep the elbows directly under the bar and touching our chest really softly. As for the deadlift, let's just work on the lockout. I think we're getting the hang of setting the hips, but once we work on the lockout, we'll be able to move bigger weights and make sure that we actually are engaging the glutes, because if you're not used to locking out a heavy load, you can miss the lockout in competition, and we don't want that. So all in all, great week. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, I hope you are kicking ass in training and in life, and I'll see you next week.